So welcome to the 18th hole here at Las Colinas, the par 5, as you can see, over water towards the clubhouse. And we're talking in this video about the lead shoulder, its movement from the top of the golf swing and how that relates to your delivery position and how this can ultimately help you strike the golf ball better. And especially we're talking about the iron shots from the fairway. So let's go ahead and take a look at the movement that we're talking about. So as we make a backswing, the lead shoulder is going to move from its original position to somewhere at the top, and we're starting to think about what it does from here to impact. Now let's take a look at what we tend to see from the better players, the golfers that we see on TV, the golfers who obviously play this game the way that we would like to play this game. So we're going to look at what I call handle height at last delivery. So we're just going to put a mark on the top of my glove here, and as I go to the top, my lead shoulder is going to be moving towards the target but slightly downwards towards the ground. And then when I get to this last delivery point here, you can see how my lead hand is slightly lower than it was at setup, and my shoulder is probably now at a similar height that it was at the top of my golf swing. So from the top, my shoulder went towards the target and down. It then began to work back up again until, as I say, at this last parallel position, the lead hand will be slightly lower than it was at setup, and the shoulder is now the same height that it was at the top of the swing. From here, I can continue to pivot that shoulder up and out the way. That's going to help me raise the handle into impact. The club is going to descend. I'm going to still strike the ball with a downward hit, but my lead hand, my lead shoulder are moving up away from the golf ball through impact. This is what we would tend to see from the best golfers. Unfortunately, all too often I will see the handicap golfer doing something quite different. So let me try and demonstrate what I tend to see from those golfers. I will see generally a pretty good backswing move, so let's assume that the left shoulder is in a good position, but far too early that shoulder moves across and then upwards. So it never really has that downward and forward component to it. What that ultimately means is as that shoulder moves across and up, it's very difficult for that golfer to get the handle low enough at this last point. And then from here, they tend to stall the pivot to an attempt to make contact with that ball and try and get the distance between the lead shoulder and the club head as long as they can, because if the lead shoulder was to continue to pivot, they would end up catching the ball on the top, they would end up thinning it, all those things that we tend to want to try and avoid. So how are you actually going to, how's this going to help you when you practice? Well, this is what I want you to try and implement into your practice session if you feel this is you. And the best way to do this, actually just pop it on camera, face on, just use your smartphone, something like that, and just take a look at what your lead shoulder does from the top. It shouldn't move across and up. We'd like it to move more down, across, and then up. So which way are we trying to shift our pressure as we start down? Well, most golfers, would be fairly happy with the idea that we're trying to shift our pressure towards the target, and that would be absolutely correct. So if we could sort of signify that in a direction, that would be out this way. But I actually want you to think about shifting your pressure, yes, towards the target, but also slightly down towards the ground. So we're sort of moving it forwards and down. So I'm going to make this definitely more exaggerated in this little rehearsal, but I want you to feel like from the top, the first move you have is a little bit more like this. So you can see how, yes, I'm moving forward towards the target, but I'm also moving down towards the ground. That's going to help the travel of this lead shoulder. I'm now able to get the handle low enough. I'm now absolutely loaded, primed, ready to start to rotate and push away from the golf ball, raise the handle into impact, but I'm still going to be hitting that golf ball with a descending blow. But it's going to enable me to pivot much better through the golf ball, start to utilize my extension of my body. And I think you're going to find that you're going to add club head speed, but you're also going to elevate your strike. You're going to start to hit that ball turf contact more often than possibly what you do now. Really, really common is to see the golfers gaining height too soon in the downswing. Left shoulder starts to raise too soon. We start to get the handle too high at delivery point, and then everything stalls out in an attempt to try and recover that down at impact. So think about your lead shoulder. Think about how it should move from the top. Yes, it will move towards the target, but it will also move slightly downwards as it does that. That's going to allow you to get the handle lower, and we're going to see hopefully a lot better things happening at impact as a result. Let me hit one. I'm going to try and show you this. Now you can see where that flag is. I'm not really going to go for that flag. It's into the wind off the left, so I'm going to try and hit a little fade in there. I'm going to take it towards those bunkers and see if I can just let the wind move it a little bit to the right into the middle of that green. Okay, wind's got it a little bit, should be about perfect, left of the flag, pretty safe, and hopefully I'm going to be putting from there. So left shoulder in the downswing, really important component to help you strike the ball better, hit those crisp iron shots from the fairway, and hopefully you'll pick up a little bit more yardage as you do that. Huge thank you to Last Clearness for hosting me for a few days. I'm sure you'll agree the course looks absolutely fantastic, immaculate condition, and the practice facilities are fantastic as well. If you ever get a chance to get here, make sure you do. It is well worth a visit. Thank you for watching. Usual stuff is down below. There's a comments box down there. There's a like button. There's also a link over here to subscribe. So if you're not a subscriber, click that link. Would love to have you part of my channel. Thanks for watching. We'll hopefully see you back here again soon.